got to be Monday if you're seeing my face again. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show this week. Mondays are one of my favorite days. I say it every week because I get to see some really cool people, talk to some people who are doing some really fun and cool things here in Sarnia, Lambton. Nothing to do, really. Get off the couch, watch the show. We're going to show you some things that you can do here in Sarnia, Lambton. I'm going to start with the weather. Wow, I don't complain about the weather. We live in southwestern Ontario where crazy things can happen. Mother Nature is, I don't know what she's smoking, but something has really gone crazy. It was like minus 40 last week for a couple of days. And now it's like a spring day out there today. So I don't know what's happening. I'm really not complaining, because the weather is the weather. But I hope you were nice and bundled up, because going for a 60-second, Jennifer and I were out the other day and for dinner, and then we walked to the car. It might have taken us 45 seconds to get to the car. And we were really happy to get to the car. So anyway, it is what it is. Monday, where we're talking about some really cool things coming up this a few moments. We're going to be talking about the Sarnia Tech Community is going to be joining us. What is the Sarnia Tech Community? Well, it's pretty close to what it sounds like, but we're going to have some of our friends join us in a few moments to talk about that. And then the Tall Ships are coming to Sarnia. This is super exciting stuff. The Tall Ships Celebration will be here in August, and Director of Parks and Recreation for the City of Sarnia, our friend Rob Harwood, is going to be joining us. And it's also World Cancer Day. So Paula McKinlay from the Canadian Cancer Society here in Sarnia, Lambton is going to talk about what that means to them, and of course some of the fundraisers that are coming up as well. But first, we have to talk hockey. Yes, well, 'tis the season for hockey, talking about the weather. The Sarnia Sting have had an interesting year this year for sure. We'll call it I'd call it the stock market of hockey. It kind of goes up and it goes down, and they're trying to find some consistency in there. But they were on the road and had a fantastic week. And let's talk about their week so far. This is the Blackwater Coffee Sarnia Sting recap. And last Sunday, they played against the Hamilton Bulldogs and finished them off with a fantastic score of like 8-4. So fantastic to the Sarnia Sting. And that would set the pace for what would happen to them on the road. Let's take a look at those scores right now. Barrie Colts, they went on the road to Barrie, not an easy team, and whomped them 7-2. So this was a good start for the Sarnia Sting on their road trip. And then they would head on over to Sudbury to see the Sudbury Wolves, and would fall to the Sudbury Wolves, but interestingly falling by one goal, 4-3. But that goal was interesting because it was former Sarnia Sting player Adam Ruzicka, who now plays for the Sudbury Wolves, who took the winning goal for his new team that he's playing with. So then they would move on, and this was a really interesting game as well. They were down 4-2 against the North Bay Battalion, and they would come back to win in overtime. They would tie things up to take it to an overtime. Hugo Lavinius would get the overtime winning goal, making that now 30 goals for Hugo for this season. So a great week for the Sarnia Sting, and we'll be looking forward to having them back here. They're going to be on the road. They'll be stopping in Guelph on Friday, and then they will be back here on Saturday to take on the Guelph Storm. Now, this is a special hockey game as well, as Face-Off for Mental Health will be a part of the Sarnia Sting game taken on the Guelph Storm on Saturday. We talked about this on Bell Let's Talk Day last week, and speaking of Bell Let's Talk Day, I know that's a controversial day for some people. We need to talk about mental health all the time. It comes up regularly here on the show, even if we're not talking about mental health, it seems to come up in the conversation. So I understand we need to be talking about this all the time. 1 in 5 Canadians, that's the statistic, suffer from mental illness. Now, I have a friend of mine, Liz from St. Clair Child and Youth. She likes to say 5 in 5. And the reason she says 5 in 5 is we are all affected by mental health somehow, whether it's us directly or a family member or just the fact that we're hearing about it all the time. We are all affected by this, 1 in 5. And in fact, what got this face-off for mental health and getting St. Clair Child and Youth involved was a hockey coach that was having to deal with some of his players were having their own issues. And he went to St. Clair Child and Youth and said, I'm a coach. I don't know, how do I deal with this? So they banded together, collaborated, if you will, and came up with Face Off for Mental Health, which now supports many of the hockey leagues. Sarnia Legionnaires are involved. Now the Sarnia Sting are involved. And they're looking to expand into other communities with Face Off for Mental Health. And they will be at the Sarnia Sting, at the Progressive Auto Sales Arena for the Sarnia Sting on Saturday, February the 9th. We had Craig McKenzie join me here last week. Liz Page often joins me, and I know they'll be there. Oh, I have it here somewhere. Here's Silly Dave coming out. I got the pin and the toque. Look at that. There we go. I got all that in the toque too. Face Off for Mental Health. I'm not one for wearing hats, I gotta be honest, because they don't fit me very well, but I did wear this one the other day though when we were out. Kept my head warm. Anyway, Face Off for Mental Health, St. Clair Child and Youth will be there on February the 9th at the Progressive Auto Sales Arena. Who likes free? I like free. Free movies especially. Price is a movie. When the free one comes along, this is really good. Tonight, actually, at the Sarnia Library Theater, 6:30 tonight, it's Christopher Robin. And nice family-friendly movie, and you can head out there to the theater tonight at 6:30, and they will have popcorn and all the goodies there as well. So free movie tonight at Sarnia Public Library Theater. Pints for Pucks. Hockey seems to get in here a lot. There's going to be a special event happening at the Refined Fool on London Road for the Legionnaires Hockey Club. That's happening this weekend, and you can check that out by going to the Refined Fool on Facebook page, on their Facebook page, sorry, or go to the Sarnia Legionnaires website or Facebook page as well. I'll tell you more about that. Pints for Pucks. It's got a ring to it, doesn't it? Morgan James is going to be coming to Sarnia this week, and she is from New York City, and she's got her first independent album. I got lots of things going on here. Bear with me. Where did everything go? So what happens when you self-produce? Producer, I'm looking for a producer for hire. She's from, there it is. She's from New York, and she's traveling. She's like a soul singer, pop singer / pop singer, and she's going to be doing her set, part of her tour. She's from New York, as I mentioned, and she will be down at the Imperial Theater coming up this week, and you can go to imperialtheater.net to find out more about Morgan James. I've heard a lot of conversation about her, so I don't think you'll have a bad time. There's never really a bad time at the Imperial Theater, that's for sure. There's always lots going on down there. Talking about mental health as well, once again, the Ride Don't Hide event is coming up in June for the Canadian Mental Health Association, and registration is open for that. We'll be having some guests from the Canadian Mental Health Association joining us over the next couple of weeks to talk about why this is important as well and how you can get involved, creating some awareness for mental health and some good exercise at the same time. Who doesn't need good exercise, especially after the holidays? Did you join a gym? I did not join a gym. How many people join a gym and then quit after? Like, sales are up at the gym this time of year, I'm pretty sure, for about 3 months. Anyway, lots to do in Sarnia. We talk about Sarnia Lambton, though, and I think sometimes we forget to just kind of move out of our zone right here in Sarnia. Petrolia's got a lot going on, Forest and all the surrounding area. We're going to be talking about more of that, but they've got their Family Fun Events Day coming up on February the 15th, and going to be lots of things to do out there. They're going to have movies, there's going to be food, there's going to be music, and hoping to get somebody here on the show to talk about that. Pardon me, coming up as well in the future. Sarnia Tech. That's what we're here to talk about now. But before we do, I want you to just take a moment and think about all the technology in our lives. How much technology do we have in our lives? Like, I have 3 computer screens in front of me. I have my guests are already laughing at me about it. I have an iPad over here. I have an iPad here. I have my phone here. I have 2 cameras, I have 4 cameras in front of me. It's crazy. And there was a time, I think, when everybody was a computer consultant, but I don't think you can't know it all. So what a great idea to put together a community to collaborate and teach each other and learn from each other about all this technology is going on. And I'm going to bring on my guest right now. We're going to start talking about that. From the Sarnia Tech Community. There's Mark Dillon and Jasmine Newton. Thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, you heard my introduction there. It's really true. Like the technology there's no escaping it, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's your choice, but technology is an incredible tool. So you could escape using a vehicle, you could escape using a fork, but sometimes there's a good tool for the job, and technology does the trick a lot of the time.
Yeah, used properly, right? I mean, we talk about technology like social media and stuff, and a lot of people can say that stuff's really negative, but it doesn't have to be. It's not all negative. I don't have any. You can go to my Facebook, you won't see any negative, right? Talk about the Sarnia Tech community though, and how it got started. And I know there's kind of like a vision and mission statement there.
Sure. So the Sarnia Tech community was started in August of 2017 officially. For the past few years, and I'm sure even before then, there have been people, in an unofficial tech community getting together and meeting. But in 2017, a few of us people got together and we wanted to be able to have access to other people in Sarnia that were interested in technology, that worked, that were tech professionals, that had a business that was in technology, or that did things in their spare time as hobbyists. We wanted to be able to connect with these people in case we wanted to do something fun and invite them, or if we wanted to ask questions. So we held a meeting at the Kenwick building, and we went up on the rooftop and we looked out on Sarnia and the sunset that was happening, and we talked about what we wanted for Sarnia in terms of technology. And we all agreed that we all love Sarnia and we love being here, and we all have different reasons for being here: our families, our jobs, history, the affordability. There's lots of reasons, and we wanted to stay in Sarnia. And
Right.
Something that was going to keep us in Sarnia would be having more tech jobs, and having a group of people that we could meet that wasn't in Detroit or London and Toronto, something accessible where we could find like-minded people.
Right.
So we decided to start meeting every month.
Yeah. Well, that's what I find really interesting about that, and I'm just going to pick on your age demographic for a moment, because you're both younger, right? Under 30. Is that
That's very nice of you to say. When I was growing up, I was born and raised here. I came back here in 2016, and the first real passion I had was BBSs. I remember designing ASCII art screens and hoping I could find a way to have a dial-up BBS. I'm 36, but when I came back here to work, I remember looking up on like meetups and stuff to see, okay, am I gonna have to drive to Waterloo to have experience like with the stuff that I used to be accustomed to when I lived closer to the GTA, and I was able to just walk down the street literally and then go to this great community of people, because my work's fulfilling, but it's really fun when you have a bunch of people in the room and it's about something you're interested in and you can have an open discussion.
Yeah, or we like to say we can get our geek on or geek out about it, right? But what I was referring to about the demographic, and I don't know if you know this, Mark, you might know this, but I had a bulletin board system back. I ran one. It was called Ham and Eggs.
Yep.
And I'm a ham radio operator, so the name Ham and Eggs, it was something for the radio operators and everybody else too. And I had FidoNet, and anyway, getting off topic, but that was a lot of fun. On an 80, I will say this, on a 286 motherboard and an 85 megabyte full height hard drive. That's how I ran it, with a 2400 baud modem. Whew. Anyway, that brings back memory. But the demographic there, I guess what I'm getting at is it's nice to see the younger generation. I think we hear a lot of complaints often in Sarnia about there's nothing here in Sarnia for the younger, and our younger folks are moving away because we're a retirement community, blah, 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 blah. And I'm one of the firm believers that your community is whatever you make of your community or how you contribute to it. So I think it's really neat that you and the like-mindeds got together and said, we really like Sarnia. I don't want to leave here. There's so much. I mean, we have such a beautiful city. I mean, we're talking about the tall ships coming up here. You know, how amazing is our city and our border fests and all the things that go on here. Why wouldn't you want to stay here, right? So congratulations to you for pursuing that. Now, you need to get support from the community to make this kind of thing happen, as far as getting people involved. And then, you know, I'm sure with some events, you need sponsors, et cetera, right?
Yeah, that's true. We've had some pretty generous stuff so far. The Story has hosted all of our events. We've been able to go there and use that space. Honestly, without that space, I'm not sure we would have continued to exist for the almost year and a half that we've been around. Yeah. We've had donations as well from various places. We've held a couple events. We held a 1-year anniversary at District Beta, and we had our Christmas party there as well. And, but we are getting to that place where the group's becoming more mature, and we're having to think about this can't just live on the sweat and tears of all the people who are giving things for free. Yeah. And it's becoming a big enough group that we think it's worth putting all that extra effort into.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say a big enough group, so how many people are involved with Sarnia Tech Community then?
Well, so officially our membership group is about 200, but I would say we have between 30 and 60 people that would show up to our events.
Sure. So are you at this point, are you just a group, or are you a nonprofit, or will you become a nonprofit, or what stage or level is that?
We're pretty much nothing right now. We have a business class bank account we share, but we haven't registered. We have a logo that once I see you put it up, I think it looks prettier than I remember. It's really nice. The logo.
Ari Jung, student from Lambton College.
Another donation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, perfect. Now you mentioned Lambton College. I would think there would be a relationship there with the Sarnia Tech Community. I mean, Jasmine, I know you were a student there, but do you work there as well?
Yeah, I worked at Lambton College for 3 years. Mark is currently employed as a faculty member at Lambton College, and we've always been connected to Lambton College in terms of sharing the event and including the different departments when possible. We helped bring some local tech vendors to the esports arena launch event. So there's always opportunities for sure to work with Lambton College, and we're in Lambton College right now.
Oh, okay.
In the meeting room.
Okay, nice. Yeah. I'll be there tomorrow. I'll see you there tomorrow, Mark.
Okay.
So what kind of things are you doing with the college then, as far as collaboration? Like, I mean, there'll be some of the.
We actually have an event coming up March the 9th. So we have 2 types of events we normally run. We have our regular talks, which is the last Wednesday of each month. Right. We have a call for speakers out right now that is on both our website and our Facebook group, where we're saying you want to come talk about something interesting. I believe we have an upcoming talk on February the 27th about artificial intelligence. That's with a local company that actually does that work. And but with the college on the 9th, we have what's called an install fest, where it's free to open. Anyone can come, and we'll teach you and work with you on whether you want to install basic Linux, you never touched it before, or you want to install something more advanced, you want to play with some servers. So the college allows us to use their space for those sort of things, which is again very helpful. Mm-hmm. And many of the people in our group are students, either current or past.
Wow, that sounds interesting. Linux is a word it's floated around in the back of my brain for a long time, and I've just never. Everything's working. I got everything working right. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm afraid to. I know there's a lot of power in Linux too. So
there is. Right now, we're using Linux on a laptop to communicate with you. There's a nice studio for video processing. I'm sure yours might be better, but it's called the Open Broadcast Studio. Yeah, and it's free and open source. Runs on Linux. Runs on Windows.
I didn't know it ran on Linux as well.
Yeah, and certainly when you go to Linux, it is more complicated in the fact that it's different. But we run the kinds of events where you can come and not be worried about it. We'll have computers set up, and you can come and play and not worry about breaking your own machine by trying it out.
Cool. So is this, like, obviously you're going to promote this to the students there, but can anybody come to this?
Everyone's welcome.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Now, when you talk about, I did notice on your Facebook page, and you mentioned it too, Mark, that you're looking for some speakers. So what kind of speakers, it sounds kind of like an obvious question, but really define what kind of speakers you're looking for as far as, like, you want people to talk about social media, or you want to talk about, like, what are you looking for?
Yeah, all that. It's not just about tech. It's about how it impacts our lives. And like you said, you've got multiple screens, multiple cameras. I got my phone sitting here. We're so surrounded by it that it's ubiquitous in our lives, and it's important to connect that with people. And it's not always hard tech. We have hard tech talks where it's here's how this thing works, but we also have communication talks about ideas. We've had meetings about how project management works. How do you achieve, not always working all the time when your phone's going off with alerts and reminders about tomorrow's meeting, and how do you have sanity in that? So we do all of the spectrum.
That's a good point you bring up, the sanity of it all, right? I have to, of course, this is a tool for me. It's not so much a toy. I don't play games on here. Yeah, I do my Twitch thing, but it's hard to remove sometimes. My wife, Jennifer, is very patient, and she has to remind me to sometimes face the phone downward or turn it off or whatever. And it really can affect our lives in a negative way if we allow it to, right? If we don't, like I said earlier, you got to turn it off once in a while.
Absolutely. So Sarnia Tech Community is an open forum for those types of thoughts and questions, and it's even a place for those that aren't familiar with technology to access this kind of wealth of knowledge that spans across multiple industries and ages and technologies. So even guest speakers that are looking to talk about how they live life without tech and what that looks like for them. Just different, topics can really open our minds, and it's just a forum to open up that discussion.
Yeah. Well, you heard me mention earlier, like mental health. That's a regular conversation. Have you ever heard those kind of conversations where technology can affect our mental health? Does that come up in conversation, or is that a topic?
No, I think it's important you mentioned that you're correct that our average age is lower than mine. And so we have a generation of people, and I'm sort of included in it, we're at a half and half, that lived inside a world where they did not have instant access to everything. No one has a debate at the kitchen table about a fact anymore. They just look it up on Wikipedia. And so there's a whole experience that doesn't exist anymore, and there's a bunch of anxiety that's attached to that. And I think that's we've definitely talked about it. We haven't had any official talk about it, but I think that there's a certain requirement to disengage and enjoy, whether it's nature or friends or just an experience that isn't where this isn't the focal point. Not that I'm against it. I mean, I'm the first person to want to take a phone apart as soon as I get it, because I want to see how the stuff works. And that's the cool thing about the Sarnia Tech community, is because I'm not doing it alone at my home. I can say, hey guys, look at this phone I just bought. Why don't we take it apart together?
Yeah, I'm that guy. When I was a kid, I still like to take stuff apart, even if I can't get it back together. But what about businesses, though? I see that this would be an opportunity for business to get involved in the Sarnia Tech community, to be able to find some assistance, or in sort of an indirect way, on how they can use technology to grow their business.
Absolutely. There's a lot of opportunities for business with our community. If they use technology, they can tell us about it. Maybe they're a company that we don't know of. They fly under the radar, and it's good to get to know what else is out there. If they're looking for help, everybody has a different experience in our community, and so there's usually somebody that knows something about what your question is. And we also have a pool of talent. So if you're a business that is looking to fill a gap, to get some insight, to fill a role, we often have students and entrepreneurs, and those that are in between jobs or that are self-employed that are looking to offer their services. So businesses can get a lot just from getting involved and meeting people in the community.
Yeah, I think it would be very advantageous. And I consider myself a very tech savvy kind of guy. But like I said at the start of all this, you can't know everything about everything anymore.
No, it's just too much.
And even the next generation coming behind me, like I find I'm still learning. When I teach my class at the college, I didn't know that, right? You kind of have an idea. So you're still learning from our different generations. Get an opportunity to intermingle with each other, I would think, at Sarnia Tech as well.
Yeah. That's true.
For sure.
We have people that were ham operators. I don't know what the term is, but we have people from all ages that come out and bring up technology that I've never heard of, and then people using the brand new stuff that came out on the internet yesterday, and it's really cool to be able to share that. Where else do you get that kind of age? Diverse age group coming together every month.
That ran VAX systems, and we've got people that are designing microservices in the same room.
Yeah.
The same
VAX system. I took a course at the college when I was young, and I took the VAX 2 systems. You don't even know what I'm talking about.
I have
Yeah.
no idea about it.
I was really surprised to find out though that those punch cards still get used.
I started out as a mainframe programmer at Y2K. That was how I got my career started.
Wow.
And in my original courses, which were here, I was using those punch cards not as this isn't how people do things anymore, but an exercise in I guess humility. Here's how long it takes. Make your program with your punch cards. We'll compile them overnight. Brute force compiling was not a thing you got to do.
Oh.
Wow.
No. And I remember being excited when I had a 360K floppy. It was about this big, right?
Yeah.
And then when we discovered you could take a punch hole and clip the side of it, and now you could do it on both sides of the disc.
So like even this conversation right now is so much fun, and these are the exact kind of conversations we have when we get together, because the events aren't just someone talking about something. There's always some networking before and after.
Yeah.
People might go out for a drink after and talk to each other and just form that communication. Next thing you know, you're having lunch with someone next week because you have this new circle of tech professionals you didn't know were here.
Well, the circle is the official meeting is the structured meeting. I always find the meeting after the meeting the most interesting, right? So it's fantastic. So I got to wrap up with you here in a moment, but tell everybody if you got things coming up. I know you mentioned a few things, but how often do you meet, and does it cost anything, or what's the spiel?
So we meet on the last Wednesday of every month. So this month it'll be February 27th. We'll be at the Story, downtown Sarnia, beside Blackwater. Free to attend. And we also have our Install Fest event coming up March 9th at Lambton College. If you go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Sarnia Tech, then you'll find all the events posted on there. And on our website, sarniatech.ca, you can join, become a member, subscriber, get our email newsletter. So if you don't use Facebook, you can still hear about all of our events through the newsletter that way.
Yeah, we have a Slack channel we use as well, which is great. Everyone's always on there. And once you sign up to become a member, you get an email to join our Slack channel, and lots of great people chatting there all the time.
Yeah, well, I just signed up for it today, and I got on Slack today, so I'm in. And Wednesdays are a pretty good night for me. You might catch me out there, especially since I can grab a Blackwater coffee and bring it over. I'm kind of partial to Blackwater coffee. But that's fantastic. Well, thank you so much both for your time. Is there anything finally you want to throw in that we didn't get to?
Maybe just if anybody out there can share that guest speaker application. We want to see how far we can reach and get some really cool speakers lined up for this year. Otherwise, come out to our event, see what it's all about.
All right. Make sure you got me on your media list there, and you just keep emailing me all kinds of stuff, and I'll be posting all this stuff after the show, all the links as well. We'll get that guest speaker link out there as well. All right.
Awesome. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Jasmine and Mark, thank you so much. And I'm sure we'll be seeing you around pretty soon.
Thanks so much for having us.
You're welcome. Bye now. All right, Jasmine Newton and Mark Dillon, our friends from the Sarnia Tech Community. I'm going to have to make it out to one of those. You should too. You know, like we talked about the business involvement in there and how you can, even nonprofit organizations or businesses, charities, all that. We're all using the technology. Why not go out there? I think it would be another opportunity to create another circle that maybe you don't have that you might be able to network with outside of some of the other network things going on to help yourself grow. All right. So Sarnia Tech Community, thanks so much for that. All right. I'm really excited about this because this is a super big, huge, amazing, awesome event that's coming to I don't know if you're ready, Rob. You got people attacking you there? Our friend, Director of Parks and Recreation, Rob Harwood for the City of Sarnia. How you doing, buddy?
Fantastic, Dave. How's it going with you?
I'm doing great. I didn't know you've got a lot of things going on in your office. Are you in your office? Is that where you're at?
Yeah. Actually, I'm in the office, just getting ready for another meeting coming up. But glad to have a couple minutes with you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Well, this is certainly an exciting event. As I couldn't give it a more exciting introduction there with all these big words, but it really is that big of a deal.
It really, really is. And I know you know how excited I am about it as well. The team, all of us are working on it. We've been working on this for well over a year now. So we're kind of getting down to the time of August, and this is going to be fantastic. Can't wait. And I'm sure you'll be involved with us as well.
Yeah, it's got to be a really exciting for you and the team because, like you said, you have been working on this for a long time, and there was quite some time you probably had to keep it to yourself before you could say anything. So the excitement's really been building up for you.
Yeah,
talk about what's coming.
It really has, and it's a huge budget on this thing. So as you can well imagine, the logistics involved in setting up an event like this are considerable, and obviously they're international sailing vessels. So there's a lot of port security type stuff and things that we've been learning along the way. And the fun part too is that this community is pumped and ready for this. So the volunteers coming forward are fantastic. And I mean, we need still volunteers. People can get onto the website and see volunteer opportunities on there. But in fact, we're also securing some great volunteers that are nautical experience type people that can help out with ship logistics. So everybody's pulling forward. It's fantastic. We've got 6 ships so far. 4 of them are Class A ships, which means that they are basically 40-meter plus ships. Huge, these things. We're talking a couple 100 feet long, some of these. And therefore, the depth is quite considerable as well. So when we were only a smaller festival, we were probably going to be okay along the waterfront. We've decided last week we would move over to Sarnia Harbor. That way we can accommodate everybody. And we've got 2 more potential ships coming that we're just waiting to hear more about. So I can't tell you a whole lot about that, but it's growing and it's going to be crazy.
So I'm on the website right now. So the confirmed ships include the Blue Nose 2.
Yep.
The Picton Castle.
Correct.
The Empire Sandy. The Fair Jean. Did I say that right?
Fair Jean, yeah.
And the Appledore 4.
Appledore 4, and they must not have had the Neo Santa Maria on there yet. We just secured that one last week. And obviously everybody's heard of the Santa Maria. It's probably the most famous one in the world. So that is going to be really cool to see in the waters around here.
Wow. Nothing to do in Sarnia.
Yeah. I would argue that point, my friend.
Yeah, I would too. Well, this takes, like you mentioned too, Rob, that, obviously you've got a great team that you're working with. I know like Tourism Sarnia Lambton's obviously involved.
Tourism Sarnia Lambton's amazing partners. Couldn't have done it without them.
Yeah. And then I know, speaking of partners, you've got to have some money. So I'm sure you've got some, I know recently you just announced a couple of large sponsorships that are supporting the event.
Yeah, we're extremely happy that we brought on as title sponsors Carpenters Local 1256, and then as presenting sponsors, Imperial Oil is on board with us, so that's fantastic. We actually have a brand new gold sponsor that just came on board with us just last week, and that will be the Sarnia Construction Association.
Oh, wow.
So that's a brand new one that nobody knows about yet. And we've also got 3 more spots available for gold sponsorships, as well as some other opportunities that are silver and bronze and community partners. So there's still opportunities to get on board with this. It's a huge, it's about a $500,000 expenditure, the operations of this event. So we're hoping that we can get some more sponsors to come on board and help out with this. Everybody get involved. It's a great opportunity for companies to have great brand recognition. Of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, 100,000 people here.
For sure. And let's talk about the numbers of the people that you're expecting. You've already started selling the tickets, right?
Yeah, we started selling tickets. We're inching towards 3,000 tickets sold. And the really cool thing is that because we're selling them through Ticket Scene and we're able to actually read, the analytics of what's going on in the background and where they're being sold all over North America. So it's really picking up momentum. It's fun watching the chatter with people that are way in the Western states, for instance, that are coming and planning their vacation to Sarnia for that event weekend. That weekend is going to be second to none around this area, having Tall Ships going on, having Borderfest music event, Artscape. Those are 2 very well-established events. So we're hoping we'll boost them and they'll boost us. And there'll be a good reason for everybody to get to Sarnia for the weekend. Hotels are fast.
I bet you got to have somewhere to sleep for all of this. What an incredible opportunity for the city of Sarnia Lambton, to be able to showcase all the things that Sarnia has to offer. I mean, we know we have a beautiful waterfront, but I mean, we've got some great dining, and entertainment, we got theater, there's so much going on here. There's got to be is there collaboration with other businesses, like downtown? I would think would be somewhere that you're collaborating with, or what's that looking like?
We are collaborating with anybody and everybody that wants to jump on board with us. So we've got some great volunteer coordination going on. We've got some of the regulars that you'll see volunteering for a lot of other different communities that are involved with us from a facilitation committee type perspective. We've got entertainment committee set up. We've got volunteer committee. So yeah, it's pulling together really, really nicely. We're hoping that we will get more businesses on board as well, because I think everybody's starting to see that this is really an amazing event to get involved with.
Well, it's becoming more of a reality, and August will be here before we know it. And what a beautiful waterfront to be able to showcase this on. I mean, we've certainly got the room for it down there. People can, when they buy a ticket, what are they getting? They just get to walk on the ship and check it out, or is there special events going on, or what are people going to experience?
So there's opportunities for tickets to be purchased that would be just for viewing purposes. So that would give you access into the platform area. And again, remember, it'll be over at the harbor, Sarnia Harbor now. So that would give you admission into that area. There's also a opportunity to buy boarding passes, which means that you would get access to the area as well as be able to board the ships. And we just are starting to sell now the sail away opportunities as well. Unfortunately, the hard copy tickets were supposed to be here this morning, but we haven't received them. I guess there was a weather delay from the other end coming from the States. Okay. But they are available online if you go through the website. So there's going to be morning cruises on the Saturday and the Sunday morning, which will be boarding at 7:30 and sailing at 8 until 9:30. And on Saturday and Sunday evenings, we are going to actually have evening cruises, which would be boarding at 6:30 and sail from 7 till 9. And the evening cruises are going to be on the Empire Sandy. I actually had the opportunity, Diane and I went and had the opportunity in Port Colborne last August to go and negotiate to bring them here. So our meeting was actually held on that particular vessel while it was underway. Pretty cool meeting, I gotta tell you. And it's fantastic. I mean, once you are out on that thing and they throw the sails and you hear the big whoosh of the wind going through those sails, wow, what an experience. So
once in a lifetime
I would
experience.
encourage everybody to get there quick for tickets because they're going to go fast.
Yeah. What about vendors? Will there be? Is there vendor opportunities for people as well?
Yes, there are. And if you look at the website again, there are opportunities on there to be able to apply for vendors as well. We're coordinating, of course, with the Artscape Group and with Border Fest. So there's opportunities for vendors in, any of them individually or to get group packages for the three. So we're trying to cover all our bases. We're looking at shuttling. Obviously, downtown Sarnia is going to be pretty busy with 100,000 extra people in for the weekend. Yeah. So we're working with Sarnia Transit on having shuttle opportunities as well. So we're just trying to consider all the logistics to make this thing a fantastic weekend that'll make a lot of memories.
I keep hearing the word fantastic, amazing, and awesome, and I can hear the excitement in your voice. What else needs to be done to make sure that this is all happening? Is there any missing pieces yet, or are you pretty much on track? You just got to cross a few more T's.
Yeah, no, we're pretty on track. We've been, as I say, we've been working on this for almost close to 18 months, to be honest with you. So we've attended a couple of conferences with Tall Ships America to work through some of the logistics that are involved in this thing. I mean, obviously, port security is a pretty big thing in this day and age. So really and truly, we are right on track. Things are going great. Again, we are just kind of at the start of sponsorship time. So we're really encouraging anybody that's interested in getting some of those sponsor spots to get a hold of us quickly, because they're coming in almost daily, to be honest with you. So
you talk about the security. So I'd imagine that you're having a lot of regular conversations with the Canadian and the American Coast Guard.
Yes, absolutely. We've been dealing with American Coast Guard actually for the last year and studying up on some of their plans. They're a little tighter over there than we are in Canada, but we mirror very closely through their protocols. So yeah, and honestly, Transport Canada, Canadian Coast Guard, everybody's been so great to work with. Everybody's excited to bring it here to our area. So we're getting nothing but positive support from everybody.
Well, and a lot of opportunity for the community again to show. Let's show off Sarnia, right, and show them what we got around here.
You know it. Like I hear you say all the time, there's nothing to do in Sarnia. Give me a break, because there's always things to do.
Get off your couch.
That's right. That's right.
That's right. Well, Rob, I know you got still a busy day ahead of you, so I appreciate you taking the 10 minutes or so to talk to us here. And we've got sarniatallships.com up there. Is there anything you want to throw out there that we didn't get to yet before I let you go?
I don't think so, other than mark that spot on your calendar, because you'll be sorry if you miss that weekend.
Yeah. Right on. Okay. Well, enjoy the rest of your day, Robin. Really, really grateful to you and the team for putting this all together. Looking forward to participating in this as well.
Fantastic. Looking forward to it too, Dave. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Rob Harwood, City of Sarnia, Director of Parks and Recreation. He's always a happy guy, and he's super excited. And why wouldn't you be? The Tall Ships are coming to Sarnia. I see my next guest. She's nodding. She's like, yeah, I can't wait. Don't wait. Go to sarniatallships.com. Get your tickets. More exciting news is coming. There's more announcements coming. That's all I can tell you. Tease. Yes, it is. It really will be an epic event for Sarnia Lambton, and you will not want to miss it. As Rob said, people are coming from all over Canada, the United States. They're making it part of their travel plans to come to our city. So what an opportunity. All right. Thanks again, Rob. And I think I have a couple. This is a couple of the ships here. I'm not sure which one that is, but look how awesome that is. I'm excited. All right. My next guest, she's always exciting too. And she's smiling and she's patiently waiting in the lobby. We're bringing her on screen right now. My friend, Paula McKinlay. How you doing, Paula?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I was excited when you were. I'm always excited to have you on. So I was glad when we talked over the weekend. You said, "Yeah, I can make it."
Of course. I love when you interview me, but kudos to Rob and his group, because being in the event world, I know how hard it is to do event planning. And if anybody is smart in the fundraising or event planning world, you will not plan anything on that weekend, because it is just going to be a bust. Because it's Borderfest and Artscape and Tall Ships, they've got it nailed.
Yeah, and unless you're going to put a booth right next to the Tall Ship.
Yeah, I might rent out my house.
Yeah, why not?
I'll become a B&B that weekend.
B&B for the weekend. Why not? Well, I know I'm going to be all over the place that weekend. I know I won't be. I might be looking for a place to sleep because I might not make it back home. Yeah. Well, today, again, thanks for joining me, Paula. Always appreciate your time. And today is World Cancer Day. And that's an important day for obvious reasons. But I just want to read. I'm going to read something here that if I can find it. That I found on your. I got all these windows popping up. Everybody's messaging me and stuff. All right, here we go. So, yeah, this was posted on the Canadian Cancer Society for Sarnia. Mm-hmm. Life is bigger than cancer, bigger than a diagnosis, bigger than chemo, the surgeries, the scars. Yes, cancer can change everything, but it does not have to define who you are, because life's not about what you have. It's about what you do and who you're with. It's about the memories that live on, even if the ones we love are no longer with us. And with the help of our research, volunteers, and support services, we can go from having cancer to living with it. Now, this is the part that really shocked me. 1 in 2 Canadians are affected by cancer, and every day the Canadian Cancer Society is working hard to help them live their lives. So today on World Cancer Day, you're saying thank you to our donors and supporters for all that you've done and all that you'll do to help us achieve our vision of a world where no Canadian fears cancer. 1 in 2 Canadians, Paula.
Well, there's a few things to think about. 1 in 2 Canadians will be diagnosed, but not 1 in 2 Canadians will die.
Right. Right.
Well,
Is
and
that
of course, think about the 1 and 2. Our population is aging, and we're living
Sure.
longer. So the chances of you being affected by cancer, those statistics are bound to increase.
Yeah, I suppose.
But-
Okay, that's a good perspective.
And what are the one great thing about the Canadian Cancer Society? You know, I can talk about us all the time, but you know, one of the great things that I continue to be reminded of is our organization is a national organization. So those 1 and 2 people that will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime, we got them. We got their backs. You know, we are coast to coast. We have the support, the services, the research, the advocacy, all of that for all of those 1 and 2 Canadians that are diagnosed, plus their family and loved ones.
Well,
that's us.
And it's one of those things, and I mean, and you know my story, but it's one of those things you don't really know until you're affected by it, whether it's indirectly, directly, whatever that is. There's so many services that are put out there for support. I think one of the big ones would be transportation, because we, the family, as much as we want to help, we can't always help as much as we'd like to, because we have jobs and lives and wives and children and husbands and whatever's right, you know, and we have to keep pushing ourselves through it as well. So I would say the Canadian Cancer Society just a big support network, and then all those other services come into it.
I mean, transportation is yes, and it's the you know, that local tangible. We have 111 clients right now that we're taking to treatment and home again, because they can't get there every day, and it's a fantastic program. And I would never sell it short. I never thought in a million years in Sarnia Lambton we had that many people that couldn't get to their life-saving treatment, but there are, and I'm glad we can be there for them, and I'm glad that we can do the fundraising to ensure that program can always continue. But some of the things that we kind of forget, you know, the effects of research, and the effects of our hard work on Parliament Hill and Queen's Park. I mean, can you remember a time, Dave, when you went to a restaurant and had to say, they'll say, seating for how many? And you'd say 2. And they'd say smoking or non-smoking. And you would say, once upon a time, Mr. Burrows, you would say smoking.
Yeah.
Think about that. My 13-year-old daughter never, ever has to she'll never be asked that question. She never has to make that choice. And why? Because of amazing on Parliament Hill.
Well, that's a good point you put there, because the point there is that this has happened over, so I want to say like 40 years. Like I remember being about 5
Think about
years
your karaoke
old.
days.
Oh, totally. I remember being 5 years old, getting on a plane to go to Florida with my parents for Disney World or Disneyland or whatever. And you could smoke on an airplane. And my father was a smoker.
Yep.
And he smoked for 30 years. And then it was the same thing, smoking or non. You could smoke in the mall. In the bar, wow, like 20-ish years of doing DJ karaoke in the bar. You just had a cigarette going. It wasn't even back in the 60s when it was glamified women, right? You know, Hollywood stars, and you get smoking. Now I see advocacy for even taking smoking out of movies.
Yep.
That's right. I mean, to a certain point. I mean, you know, I think if you're showing a mob movie, you're probably going to see somebody smoking if it's
and it's
back
age related, right? I mean, they're also age related movies. I mean, our children do not need to see that. I mean, and there's things the works that we do. Think about being a mom or a dad that has a child going through cancer treatment, and now they can be weeks and take care of that person, and their job is protected. That's the works of organizations like ours with the Canadian Cancer Society.
Yeah.
Can you imagine too being told that chemo and radiation just isn't going to work anymore for whichever cancer you have, and then an amazing clinical trial comes up funded by the Canadian Cancer Society? Hope again. There's that hope again. I met a girl a couple of weeks ago that treatment plan she was on since she was 16 years old. At the end of it, they said, there's nothing more we can do. we learned about a new technology at this conference, and her comment was, "I finally have hope again."
Yeah,
That's
well,
the amazing research that happens.
that's a good way to put it. I remember, and we'll go back to the Flavors and Favors event that we were at that you had me back for, and I kind of talked about that in a bit of a speech, right? Hope. I always refer to that movie, The Shawshank Redemption, right? Hope is a good thing, and sometimes it's the only thing to give us something to grasp onto, and that often pushes us forward. I mean, we know there is defeat in this disease, but
more people are living.
We are
with it.
further ahead, though, right? I mean, even aside from the
Absolutely.
advocacy, just in the technology and the treatment, we're further ahead.
How about cancers, Dave?
Sorry, what was that?
There's curable cancers.
Yes,
we have cancers that have cures. Yes, you may need treatment plans, but at the end of the day, they're curable.
See, and I think that's important that you mentioned that, because I think if you have a conversation with some people, they might say, "Oh, why don't they have a cure for cancer yet?" Or there is a cure for cancer, but you've heard this one, right? There is a cure for cancer, but they don't want us to know.
All the time, because all my loved ones that have died from this disease, we've kept the cure so that I can watch them die. Like it's ridiculous.
So I can have a job. Yeah, right.
Yep.
Well,
I work to work out of a job.
Yeah, right.
Right. So
you want to be unemployed, don't you?
You got her. You got her. And what we're striving for is that no one fear it's not a death sentence.
Yeah.
And think about how far we've come. I've been here 10 years. I know. Can you believe it? 10 years. And into previous lives. But yes, in this desk, 10 years. And you think about the strides we have made in the cancer world. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to be a part of it.
Yeah. Well, you've done very well, and I know. I mean, there's struggles in what you do, and in any nonprofit. Let's talk about the money. Money is you're always reaching for more. Everybody needs to collect money and knock on doors. I got my yellow tie on today because I don't have it. My daffodil. I couldn't find my daffodil.
It's all right, because even though today is World Cancer Day and the world is taking note and sitting back and reflecting and celebrating and thanking, don't forget our Cancer Month is Daffodil Month, which is in April. So you got a couple months for you to find that daffodil pin.
All right. Well, you have to send them to knock on my door, probably.
I will do that. I'm gonna.
I'll just pop in to see you.
Well, you know where I am.
There you go. Well, that's another one of the things too, the fundraising. Let's talk about that. I mean, I know, and I want to touch on something here that you and I have talked about before, but I want to make sure it gets put out there. People often ask the question, where does the money go? Does it stay local? Well, we know some do, some don't.
But the one thing that it. Yep. Where? No. Here we go.
What's the question? Yeah. Here you go. I know that you got the answer already, so you go ahead.
So the thing is one thing that, we hear a lot of is, one, that we're holding the cure. And two, again, that's just ridiculous. But two is that I want my money to stay local.
Right.
And, when you look at the things, one, there's many pieces to this. Local is, yes, we have a local transportation program. We have a local wig program where ladies can come in and get free wigs free of charge. We have local programming and support and all that kind of stuff. But yes, does a ton of the money go to research and advocacy and programming that doesn't sit central Sarnia? Absolutely. Sarnia does not have a research arm. We do not have a research arm. So how are we going to invest in research locally? I'll never forget, because we're confronted with this all the time, because we have amazing local charities, right? We have amazing local charities that have that, that hashtag for local. And there's just a couple things that I want some people to think of. And one is, myself as a diabetic, I don't care where metformin or insulin was created, where it was founded, if it was in Hamilton, if it was in Germany. Doesn't matter to me, but because it's making me still be alive.
That's
So
right.
when we sit and talk about, well, I want my money to stay local. I really, all those kids that you met at Flavors and Favors.
Yep.
I challenge someone to ask those parents, does it matter where the research came and where the treatment came from to ensure their children are still alive today?
Yeah.
Does it matter?
Well, that's why I brought it up, because I know that's a great perspective to that, because and of course we want our money to stay as local as possible. I say shop local as much as you can afford to, that kind of stuff. But
Absolutely. But I am a decision. We're not a retailer, but we are a decision where to spend your hard-earned money. And we get that. I mean, but you have to take a look at too, when you're making your choices, we're a national organization, coast to coast, and the largest funder of the top-notch cancer research. I mean, you really, can you get better than us? I don't think so. But but when people confront me with, I want it to stay local, I put back at them, especially when it comes to the research stuff, but it affects personal.
Yes.
Right. The decision you're making to put it in the Canadian Cancer Society and whether it's our research, our support programs, we are consolidating and bringing some programs together so that our donors spent smartly. And so some things have to be centralized, and the centralized is not here in Sarnia. We have to do what's best for that golden dollar that we work hard for.
The other thing, Paula, here's the thing. Mm-hmm. Some people just don't get it. I'm just gonna say, right?
And you know what? There's people that won't until they're in it.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I was coming to that point too, where you kind of mentioned, like, until it affects you directly. I think most people who donate to the Cancer Society have probably been affected by it directly or indirectly, and somehow, right? We tend to donate.
Congratulations.
Yeah, right. We tend to donate to where our heartstrings are attached to something, which is fine.
Absolutely.
Right? So, good explanation. I knew you knew where I was going with that. So that's good. Well, what kind of things have you got coming up for fundraisers? And I mean, of course, you're going to have the Relay for Life coming up. I think that's June 14th.
June 14th. Yeah, we got lots on the go. I mean, right now we're in lots of planning stages. Our fiscal our new fiscal just kicked off on last Friday. So very exciting to embark on a new year for us. Last year, so we just ended on Thursday. We were fantastic. We worked hard. The community worked hard, and you know what? We've surpassed budget, and I'm very excited to say that. And so thank you to all of you that put more money in the wallets so that we can pay for more research, more mission work, and do the great works that we do. But Daffodil Month is just talking about August not being that far away. Well, April is not that far away.
I know.
So our daffodil. Well, and especially since there's only a few more weeks of winter left, like these daffodils are going to be popping in no time. 6 more weeks, according to Willie Wyerton or whatever his name is. Just in time to kick off Daffodil Month. So I'm sure the community is well aware of Daffodil Month, and if they're not, we'll have volunteers all over Sarnia Lambton, because we are Sarnia Lambton based, and selling the daffodil pins. We'll have our volunteers going door to door in their neighborhoods, canvassing for funds through the month of April. Rumor has it there are a few what we call IFEs, so independent fundraising events that are getting put into the works. And if anybody wants to know how to run an event like that, give us a shout. And whether it's a dress down day at work, have fun with it, bake sales. Bake sales are always good until you're diabetic. And then going on so much. And then we've got Relay, and then that's the first half of the year is done. And from all my asks to you, how busy the second half can be. Yes. Well, and you keep asking away. No problem. If I can do something, I will. I'm one of your favorite fans, so you're good. Well, October 8th, I've already put it in your calendar. Oh, good. I just noting here, I'm going to cover up your face with a comment here because it's a big comment. But Kim Bridekirk is out there, and she says, as a cancer survivor, I've been truly blessed. I am now cancer-free and have been for 7 years. I've had so many blessings
as a result of my journey with cancer. So, there's a great success story for coming from Kim, right?
And actually, Kim was just in. Kim has
Okay.
taken her cancer journey, instead of it being negative, she has flipped it and has done great works with it. And is one of our top relay fundraisers, and sits on the committee, and also does some daffodil days and pink ribbons and stuff for us as well. So,
well, she knows how to
She
get
is a
out
great
there
advocate.
and push things out there. She'll
yes,
go.
Kiki's,
Way to go,
Kiki's
Kim.
Crusaders is go. So
That's
she's in
right.
charge of silent auction this year for relay.
Oh, okay. All right. Fantastic. Well, thanks again so much for being here and to talk about World Cancer Day and all of the fantastic things that you're doing for
Thank
so
you.
many families. And I know it is a chore. I know where you're coming from with the work that it takes. And I know you have a small team to work on all of this. So you rely on volunteers a lot. So
Yep.
thank you for all your hard work too and your team.
And that's another thing, Dave, is it's not, for us, it's not just all about the almighty dollar. That absolutely we need the funds in order to follow through with our mission. But if it wasn't for our volunteers, I mean, we're a 2.3 people office, right?
Yeah.
So if we didn't have the volunteers that we have and the committees and, peer to support and volunteer drivers and all of that, we would not exist. And the
That's right.
Canadian Cancer Society has been around for over 80 years. So, and it is
Wow.
not staff top heavy. We're nationwide, and it's volunteer based. We're 1,500 volunteers in Sarnia Lambton. And I am proud to say, Mr. Burrows, you're one of them.
No, it's my pleasure. And it's great. Yeah. It's definitely an emotional attachment and an eye opener for when I first got involved. And so, yeah, keep me on your list of people to do things.
Of course. Of course.
Anything
You
you
and
want
Jen
to
are
throw
always
out?
welcome.
Okay. Yeah. Anything you want to throw out there before I let you go home?
Just my big thank you to our amazing community. If you are a donor, thank you so much. If you're a volunteer, thank you so much. But ultimately, if you're one of our clients and users of any of our programs, and we're glad that we can be here for you. And if you do get a cancer diagnosis, I hope you don't. But if you are one and two of those Canadians that will in their lifetime, we're here for you. And because of the funds, we can be here for you.
Fantastic. Paula, big hugs. And enjoy
Thanks, buddy.
enjoy the rest of your day. I'll pop in and see you soon and say hello.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks.
My friend Paula McKinlay from the Canadian Cancer Society here in Sarnia. She's always got so much energy too, like fun and good times with Paula. Whenever we used to do the interviews live and recorded in person, and there was so much energy. She still brings it through the camera. That's awesome. So 1 and 2, as Paula said, and it is one of those things. I guess you don't really think about too much. We've all heard the C word, and I think we've even gotten better at saying the word cancer. It's one of those things until it affects you, but there is support there. That's good to know. And as Paula said too, they're well on their budget, so that's always a good thing. But they're always looking for more volunteers. So if you are affected by it and you haven't reached out to the local Canadian Cancer Society, please do, because warm welcomes there, and they will help you with whatever it is you need. So thanks again, Paula, and to the team down there. And Kim Bridekirk, congratulations on your journey as well, and glad you're turning that into a positive as well. I've known Kim a long time. She's go. So look out, world. If you want to find out more and you want to just call and talk to Paula, find out more, you can call her at the Cancer Society. There's a phone number up on the screen. Of course, you can also always go to their website, cancer.ca. Wow. The time has flown by, and I still got a couple of more things to talk about here. Tonight, it is Father and Son Night, Father versus Son Night on Twitch. We will be playing some video games, and the link will be posted later on my Facebook page. My son Jason and I, we play some video games, fun video games. I've actually found one where I kind of stand a chance at winning. Brawlhalla. He might talk me into Fortnite or something. I don't know, but we always have a lot of fun. We do that for a couple of hours. So when you see the link later, come on by and watch. If you don't know what Twitch is, just click on the link. It's free. It won't hurt you or anything like that. Come on by. Alfredo, I know you were out there. Corinder, sorry I don't get to all the comments during the show when we're having a conversation like that, but appreciate you being here, Corinder. Hi, Mark. Where else we got? Kelly was out there. So I want to make sure I acknowledge everybody. And Sean Shrem, I didn't see you there. Kudos to you for carrying the torch for mental health. Yeah, well, it's important. Thank you for coming by and watching. Hey, Fonz Chamberlain was out there too. And who else knows who's out there? But I do appreciate you all being here. So father versus son tonight. And also, I'm excited for this. I don't do it as much as I used to, but I'm going to be doing some karaoke live at the Moose Lodge here in Sarnia. This will be a contest with some open karaoke as well. And everyone is welcome to come out. It starts February the 16th from 7 to 11 p.m. We'll be running this for 3 weeks. And then we've got some more announcements coming up. Moose Lodge, great place. A lot of fun, very casual. It'll be a good time that night for sure. So mark that down in your calendar. I'll be hosting that starting February the 16th. So Sean Stramsey, if you're in, come on by. And Kelly, you should come out and sing. And if not, just come on by. Oh, my son is there as well. Hello, Jason. He's the one that's going to kick my behind in some video games tonight. And if you can't stand watching me, but you still want to listen to me, you can download me everywhere. We're on Spotify. We're on Google Podcasts. We're on Apple iTunes, Apple Podcasts. We are on Stitcher. We are everywhere there's a podcast. You can now download us and take the episodes on the road. Go for your jog, driving in your car, whatever you're doing. We do appreciate you being around here. I think I'm just going to make sure, when I'm self-producing, I think that's about it for me. So I'm going to have to say goodbye. Yep. That's all the time I got for you this week. Have a great week and an even better weekend. And I will see you next time right here on the show live. Bye for now.